Armies and shields are the visible parts of power in Westeros, but the real shifts happen in the shadows. Kingdoms are reshaped through calculated betrayals, a method House Lannister refined into a science. Tywin Lannister operated on a specific logic. He viewed honor as a liability and legacy as the only metric worth measuring. The Red Wedding remains the clearest example of this philosophy. By paying houses Frey and Bolton to slaughter the Starks under a banner of peace, Tywin bypassed the battlefield entirely. Tywin viewed this treachery as an exercise in efficiency. He used betrayal as a transactional currency, spending the lives of his enemies to settle a war in a single night. Tywin raised his children in a world where loyalty was a commodity and survival required ruthlessness. Eventually, Tyrion, Jaime, and Cersei began applying their father's economic principles to their own lives. This system works when targeted at enemies. However, a family that treats betrayal as a currency will eventually find itself bankrupt. The internal collapse began when Tywin abandoned Tyrion. Despite knowing his son was innocent of poisoning King Joffrey, Tywin condemned him to death to preserve the family's political standing. Tyrion responded by murdering his father. He committed the act with cold, deliberate justice, using the very ruthlessness Tywin had instilled in him. According to the ledger, Tyrion purchased his own life and freedom through this betrayal. The cost was his home and his name. To survive, Tyrion had to walk away from the Lannister legacy. The man who built the Lannister Empire died at the hands of the son he never valued, proving Tywin's system was vulnerable to its own rules. Jaime Lannister presents a different kind of transaction. His arc is defined by a betrayal of the one person he was expected to follow blindly, his sister, Cersei. When Cersei refused to send troops to fight the White Walkers, Jaime realized her hunger for power outweighed the survival of the realm. Jaime's betrayal was a quiet departure. He left the capital behind without a word, choosing his duty over blind devotion. Through this act, Jaime bought his honor and moral redemption. He paid for that honor by losing the woman he loved and the identity he had spent his life building. Jaime's story suggests that the only way to escape the Lannister cycle is to walk away from it empty-handed. Cersei took the Lannister logic to its limit. She directed her treachery toward allies, her own family, and the city she ruled. She obliterated her political rivals, the Tyrells, and the Faith Militant, by igniting a cache of wildfire beneath the Great Sept of Baelor. This was her ultimate purchase, the Iron Throne and total domination of King's Landing. The horror of the act drove her son, Tommen, to suicide. Cersei won the crown, but she ended up in isolation. She bought the world, but her transaction cost her everything that made it worth ruling. Reviewing the completed ledger shows that every Lannister betrayal worked exactly as planned. Tywin, Tyrion, Jaime, and Cersei all received what they paid for, but every transaction stripped away a piece of their foundation. They traded stability and family for immediate power. The most feared house in Westeros didn't fall because of dragons or foreign armies. It collapsed from within. The Lannisters mastered betrayal, only to turn that weapon on themselves. Betrayal is an effective currency for acquiring power, but it is a fragile foundation for maintaining it. The Lannisters won the game, but the prize was their own destruction.